Rivendell is the home of the elves and in my opinion one of the most beautiful locations in all of the films. In this video I'm going to show you and talk you through exactly how we made this stunning location on a 2x2 board with all the trimmings.
Welcome to Rivendell, Frodo Baggins.
We were first introduced to Rivendell in the Fellowship of the Ring in 2001, when Frodo arrived and the quest to destroy the One Ring began. Keith and I immediately knew one day we wanted to build it.
We wanted this to be a real display piece. For showcases, for events like armies on parade, we wanted to make this as realistic as possible, just like with all of our boards.
So we started with 3 2x2 boards, 1 for the base and 2 for the back, and created a right angle to hold them in place. We used insulation foam or XBS foam to build the rock face. Fast forward to 2012 and we see Rivendell again in the Hobbit and Unexpected Journey. This was the moment, making a dream a reality. We knew now was the time.
Valley of Imladris. In the common tongue, it's known by another name.
Rivendell.
If you're stumbling across this video for the first time, welcome. My name's David and Keith is the other half of this channel, and he's helped me for years with recreating some of our favourite places from the films for Middle-earth SBG. Before we go any further, if you're enjoying this, please hit the subscribe button and let us know in the comments your favourite location in Middle-earth. Now, back to the build. Once we numbered all the pieces of foam and then glued them in place, we began to carve into them.
Polyfiller was our next stage, and this really helped smooth over the gaps and cement the rock face in place. No pun intended.
When we were planning the build, I knew there were a few features I wanted to include on the model. The entrance to Rivendell, the meeting of the White Council, and Keith wanted to include the Blades of Narsil within one of the buildings. More on that later. The entrance has 2 statues which we clearly see in the Hobbit, and I thought this was a detail I could really create. Using the guards of the Galadrim court, I thought they would make excellent statues with the perfect poses of holding their spears. For this video I decided to order the new Forge World resin guards to test them out. I also received the new Elrond model within my care package, and I can't wait to get stuck into him. In the original box you received 4 miniatures, which I haven't actually got here because this is the brand new resin version from Forge World. I started using my Citadel clippers to cut the pieces out and remove all the flash from the models. After doing some dry fits, I used super glue to then glue the models together.
Yeah, I've just put them together. A great little set. But they're a bit fiddly, like quite tricky. More parts than I feel like needed in putting them together. I can't remember how the Finecast ones were, whether they were the same or not, I can't remember. But the best thing about it is definitely the banner. So I'll just show you guys the banner. If it focuses on that, I'll just move out of the way. That's definitely the best bit about the set. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there'll be a few bits of green stuff and things just to like even up the lines and across all 3 of the miniatures. Oh, and also bonus, it comes with a spare spear. So if you don't want to use the banner guy, you can use him just as a normal spear guy. That's pretty cool.
Then once everything was glued on place in the board and dry, it was ready for painting. Starting as always with a primer, we used an undercoat of black. All of our sprays come from Cassart and they are Liquitex sprays. We use colours such as burnt umber, burnt sienna, neutral grey and more. There's a whole host that you can get stuck into. The main core of the rock from which Rivendell was built from is the mountain, so we layered up the colours from a grey with the brown and the amber. After we got the main base colours in place, we began to fill the spaces where we had left room for structures, including adding the roofs and tiles on the gatehouse. Elvish buildings are very delicate and we found that Christmas decorations seem to be the cheapest and really have the desired effect. For the top of the White Council building, we used a ball that we had cut in half and removed all the glitter and the glue from it. That took a long time, I tell you.
To create that rose window effect, we went into a place like Hobbycraft, anywhere that does their own, make your own jewellery. And this is a medallion. And we bought one of these and took it out, fixed it into the building. You can spray it to match the colour of the stonework or whatever, and it looks like a beautifully carved stone rose window.
Something we really wanted to include on this board was LED lights, which added a little bit more complexity to the build. We simply used a small set of Christmas lights from a local garden centre. We used the large tower on the left to store the battery pack inside, so you wouldn't ever notice it was there.
They are battery operated, so they're very easy to use. You don't need to keep plugging into the mains. And they are tiny little lights, which is perfect for our scale models, Middle Earth type models. So the box, 3 little AA batteries, and you can see that it has a fairly long lead to start with, which is useful for storage. Just to give you a rough idea, you can see that it has lots of different strands, each of which can go into a different direction. Okay.
The Rivendell style arches and windows come from York Models, and they have a host of resources for building model railway layouts. I'll put a link in the description for you guys for all the suppliers that we use to make this board. One of the main features in the Fellowship of the Ring is the Blades of Narsil and the scene where Boromir cuts his finger.
Shards of Narsil. Blade that cut the ring from Sauron's hand. Still sharp.
To create this extra detail that only the finest elf eyes would see, Keith found an unused sword from my bits box and cut it into shards. The framed painting of Isildur and the sword, we just downloaded the image from online and reduced it in size and printed it onto thin card. No one will ever see the shards, but Keith and I know they are there.
Once we had glued all the structures and our lights and everything was in place on the board, it was time to move on to the water.
There are an endless amount of water streams throughout Rivendell, so we wanted to emulate that in the best way possible on this 2x2 board. We created 7 different waterfalls and streams across the board, working our way down, starting from the top, either side of the White Council building and between the bushes and the trees. Much like our barrels out of bond board, we use bathroom sealant to create the waterfalls. If you've not seen our barrels out of bond board, please go and check it out. I'll put a link in the description for you. Moving on to the foliage, a mix of pieces were used for bushes and trees to give a wide variety of effects. All of our materials for this come from Woodland Scenics. They can provide you with a whole host of materials. We knew we wanted it to be bright colours and an autumn style, so browns and greens with a tint of yellow and orange were used in different places. So hopefully you can see what we were trying to create as it's coming to life with the colours we used. We even created 2 slots for the eagles to sit perched as if they were to dive down into the valley below. This has been a real joy and one board that will forever be a display piece to showcase the beauty and the splendour of the elves.
Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below as well. There's plenty more Middle-earth goodness to come on this channel. The next video is all going to be about Lake Town, and I'm really looking forward to showing you that board. It's just behind me, and the build and how we did it. There's lots of exciting stuff to come. So stick around, and until then, I'll see you in the next video.